Ridley Scott is one of the hardest working directors this year. I do hope it all works out for him and he cements his name in history because he's keeping up a pretty crazy pace. I think he's going somewhere. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. He's just cranking them out this year. In his second film of the year, Ridley Scott delivers another character piece in House of Gucci. This film is about Patricia Reggiani, played by Lady Gaga, and Mauricio Gucci, played by Adam Driver, and their relationship, courting relationship and fall of their relationship, all circling around the power struggle of the Gucci empire. So look, for the second time this year, the trailers for Ridley Scott's film sort of misrepresented what the film was about or was planning to do. Unlike The Last Duel, it worked in its favor. I think that trailer was just wrong and we wound up getting a better film. The trailer for House of Gucci was very energetic and fast-paced and felt like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this salacious thing. And what we get is a very deliberate and slow-paced melodrama with some pretty fine acting in it. I think when you have something so as deliberate as this movie does and as slow-paced and as methodical as it is, part of the issue is that there's a determined outcome. Like, we know how this is ending. Now, not everybody does. Some people are going in and it's like, I just want to see that trailer because I like Gaga or I like the trailer. But some people know this story already. And so the ending is final. Like, we know where we're going to. And so the road to get there is just very one note the entire film. And it's interesting to be in one note the entire film because the tone of this movie is all over the place. But it still doesn't have any highs or lows. It just stays on that one path. It's got the entire time. The tone is wonky in that we start off with a romance film. Like, it's a courting, we see the courting, we see them dating. Then it becomes this weird mix of failing relationships to power struggles with a failing company. And then, like, there's a psychic that shows up. And then you got Jared Leto being on 10,000. Look, the acting in this movie is solid, despite some wild ranges in Italian accents. Jared Leto pulling off his best Mario. It's a me. Gaga makes it so that no matter what tone or where we're going in the shift of tone for this film, she keeps us leveled and puts on a performance that keeps everything grounded. Kudos to you, because there's a lot of wild stuff circling around the orbit, but she manages to hold on to it that you can't stop looking at her. Like, she is the person that sort of rides this, that keeps the ship going, and if it wasn't for her, I think this could have all sort of fallen apart, but it works because of her. Another standout for me, and I just feel like I want to see him do more and more as he's getting up there in age. Al Pacino is a delight. Anytime he's on screen, he is that light that kind of like, I forgot how good this guy is and how long he's been doing it. Even such small things, the way he delivers a line, the way he looks. At this age, he is still killing it, and is better than most people 40 times his younger. Jared Leto is in a different film than everybody else, and that's fine. It actually works for this because however weird the tone is, however salacious the stuff, it just goes off. He's in a completely different film. I don't mind it, but because the movie is so blah, sometimes his comes in at a level of 5,000 when the people in the exact same scene as him are on a more grounded and more realistic level. It's jarring sometimes, and I feel like Ridley kind of was just like, hey, I just directed the shit out of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Jodie Comer. Jared, do whatever the hell you want. I don't have any type of basis for this character. He's one of the, I guess Paulo is one of the few that doesn't have a lot of video taken about him or a lot of recorded stuff, so you can't really get his vocal patterns and voice mimicking. So Ridley was just like, Jared, do whatever you want. And when you tell Jared that, he's going to have a ball. And he went for it and went for broke, for better or for worse. This movie holds a lot of history in it, and it reminds me a lot of the Assassination of Gianni Versace series that was on FX from Ryan Murphy and the American Crime Story stuff. Albeit that had a much longer form of telling the story. But like with that, apparently there are a lot of historical liberties that are taken to sort of make this structure work. I just think in the long form, it just worked a lot better for me on TV in that story than what we get here. I'm not a fact sayer and I've not looked up any of this stuff, but I just know that there have been people who have kind of been like, that's inaccurate and that's inaccurate. I do hope that, like with Gianna Versace, I hope that with this, at least after you watch this, you have enough interest to sort of invite yourself to go look up a couple of things and sort of see what was true, what wasn't, and what was sort of heightened for this film. All in all, I didn't hate this movie, and I don't love it. It pales very much in comparison to The Last Duel, which I'm just comparing because they're both Ridley Scott films. But this isn't bottom of the barrel. This isn't terrible. It just doesn't move me in the way that it does. And I was set up going in thinking I was getting something else and got this. So on my scale of play it again, Sam, hey, I didn't mind that. Once was enough, or give me a time stone so I never had to think about this again. This falls into that, hey, I didn't mind that. I think Lady Gaga puts on a solid performance. I think there's some great Jeremy Irons and Al Pacino put on some great side stuff. Adam Driver's great. He's fine too. He is sort of the board that Gaga sort of plays tennis with. So he's not as big or as there's not too much memorable about his performance. He's more there as a setup person for Gaga. But he works. But this is a solid middle-of-the-road film for Ridley that has a cast that is doing everything humanly possible to make what is essentially a made-for-TV script, made-for-TV movie work. But those are my thoughts on House of Gucci. What did you guys think? Okay, leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. How jarring was Jared Leto and whatever to me he was doing? It's just some wild choice. I love that he swings for the fences. I wish more people were as bold as him. It's just weird when he's the only one doing it and everyone else is like playing this very seriously. Salma Hayek is a little out there too in this. Go ahead and leave your comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI, or you can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. It's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube here, and anywhere else that plays podcasts. But like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.